Want to speed up your web design workflow and skip through all of the mundane and repetitive tasks? Of course you do. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the new and improved Relume workflow that's going to help you to create sitemaps, wireframe, style guides, and visual concepts. This used to take days, and now it's going to take you minutes. Let me walk you through it right now. Once you set up your account, free or paid, you'll be here inside of your Relume dashboard. I'm on the Site Builder tab, and I'm going to head to my team, and I'm going to create a new team project. Once you do that, we're now in our Relume Site Builder workspace, and you can see we're on the Sitemap tab. We also have access to wireframes and style guide, which we will get to later. And we're setting up our first initial primary sitemap. You could have multiple versions. We're just going to work on one today. And we're going to use AI to do this. Instead of manually coming in here and adding pages, we're just going to jump over to the AI prompt, and we're going to give it a nice prompt, something like a modern furniture store with an emphasis on organic fabrics and ethically sourced materials. Then we're going to choose 1 to 5 pages and do it in English, and we're going to generate that sitemap. AI is going to do the work. I'm hands off. It is starting to fill my pages and actually add the pages themselves, but then also fill those pages with the type of content that we want to see. We're zooming in here. You can see in our hero section, it's going to be a showcase of the newest and most popular furniture items. Then we have a feature section and a feature list and a testimonial section, kind of standard e-commerce stuff. Down below, it's given us an About Us page, products, blog. Let's go ahead and get rid of the blog. We don't need it. Boom, just like that. It got rid of all the pages down below. Maybe underneath About Us, we want to add another page, and we could title this something like ethics as a page. And why don't we get in here, and instead of adding sections manually, we'll just let AI do it for us. So let's generate the content for ethics, generate the content for product list, and About Us. It's filling those pages as well. Feel free to customize this as much as you want. You can grab sections and move them around, reorganize things, add customized sections. But for me, this is a pretty good sitemap that's including 5 pages, 5 templates that we can immediately start to move into wireframing, and that just saved me hours. I'm done with site mapping. Again, take as much time as you want, but me, I'm moving on. Before we go on anymore and talk about how easy Relume makes your life as a web designer, another easy thing to do is to hit that subscribe button. Do you know over 70% of people watching these videos on my channel aren't subscribed? Subscribe. What are you doing? Maybe even hit the thumbs up so other people know this is good stuff. Appreciate you. All right, from our workspace, we're going to move over from Sitemap over to Wireframe. And you're going to see the moment I do it that Relume's actually just going for it. It's immediately starting to create our pages. It's filling it with content, and it's using Relume's massive library of components and predefined layouts to actually structure our page. I'm actually thinking I wanted my homepage to have a similar layout as this, so maybe we don't need this layout. I'm just going to come in here and delete that section, and boom, it has subtracted it from my layout. Done deal, easy to do. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this component a little bit. And so I'm going to come over here to my section, and I'm going to go ahead and replace that component. And here we have all of our suggested components or layouts. And this one is actually exactly what I was thinking, but we can shop through really big image on the bottom, full image or video background, kind of like a 2-panel, 2-column layout kind of deal. Let's do this nice, simple lockup. I'm going to click on that. We've replaced it. Again, we can continue to edit these to our heart's desire, moving things around, rearranging, reprompting, filling with copy, changing to different layouts. But again, for me, something that used to take me hours and hours on end to wireframe, I'm done. It took me a couple minutes. This is where it gets really, really interesting, because as designers, we want to get past site mapping and past wireframing, and we want to get to the good stuff. We want to get to color, typography, visual concepts, and send those to our clients or our stakeholders so they can give us some feedback on them. All we have to do is move from wireframes over to style guide in our workflow, and immediately we're transported into the style guide builder. We have a version, a concept that's already been delivered to us by Relume, and it's over here on the right. What is this content? This is our homepage. It's being presented to us in a cool concept that it has just assumed we probably want. Now notice this, it's given us a couple of things. It's given us some colors, it's given us some typography, some UI styling, it's given us some card and image styles, and it's given us the preview over here on the right side that's highly customizable. Now, if you don't like this, you can just reshuffle it and start the whole thing from scratch, but I think it's kind of interesting that just from the prompt and the content and everything we've given it so far, it assumed that we would probably want some sort of organic palette. Remember? Organic ethical furniture, it gave us an organic palette. Now, here's what's really cool. I actually got some samples from my client, and I was given a logo and some imagery, and I was given the starts of maybe a color palette and a couple of assets that maybe they've used in the past on some of their marketing materials. Notice we have kind of an earthy organic green. Notice that Relume did a fairly good job of understanding the assignment, of understanding what I probably even want. Now, again, if we don't like this, we could, if we want, just shuffle the entire thing, but I actually kind of like this direction. It's kind of interesting, so I'm gonna keep this concept, but I want to be able to play with some other concepts as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here to the concept tab, and I'm going to create a new concept. I could just duplicate this one and work off of it. Maybe we'll do that. Let's duplicate this concept into concept 2 and do a brand new one for concept 3. Notice when I create a new concept, it's doing something completely from scratch. I'm gonna play and have just a little bit of fun here. I'm gonna come up and I'm just gonna recycle the whole thing. It's changing the colors, the typography, the UI styling. I'm gonna go again. Let's just recycle. What else will it give me? Kind of interesting. Don't like that one as much. Keep cycling through until I get a start to something that I go, ooh, that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. Let's come back to concept 2 and let's grab this exact color so we have one that matches perfectly, and we'll make concept 1 the one that matches perfectly. I'm gonna actually click on this, and you can see when I open that up or I click on my edit button on the left hand side, we get all of those colors, the naming, all of the different shades. It breaks them down into a couple of different areas. We get pastels, we get our midtones, and we get our deep versions, and we can copy those colors or we can shuffle it up if we want to. What I'm gonna do is paste my main color in here. Notice how all of them changed. It turned into our sushi colors, sushi light, our sushi pastels, and our sushi dark colors. I really like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock our neutrals in place. I'm gonna lock our main color, and I'm gonna shuffle, and I'm gonna let it kind of be kind of playful. I do really like this copper. I'm not so sure about the blue. So what if we lock that one in place and shuffle a little bit more? Ooh, now we have a little bit of this medium carmine. This concept is just different enough from concept 2 that it feels like it's in the same wheelhouse. I'm doing my job as a designer. I understand the assignment. I know the color palette we're working with. I'll deviate a little bit and then probably deviate a lot. So I have 1, 2, 3 concepts. Right on, close enough, and really far out and interesting to see what my client thinks. Let's jump back in and start working with this concept 1 because I do really, really like it. We could add more colors here if we want to, or we could simply just refresh the whole thing based off that. Now we lost our color. I messed up. So I just pressed Command Z on my keyboard. I went back. Let's make sure we lock that in. I don't really love my typography. I do like my body copy, so let's lock in Poppins for a body copy. But again, anything that's not locked, when I recycle or refresh the entire thing and surprise me, it's going to mess with anything that's not been kind of already locked in place. Let's do it a couple more times. Now we're really kind of dialing in here, and we're only working with the elements that we've approved, that we've locked into space so far. So I think we've probably cycled through a couple of times. We keep coming back to this light one. I just don't love the heading. So why don't we fix that? I'm going to come into our typography here, and I'm going to kind of make some selections to allow AI to do its job. I think I want to stay fairly modern here. I don't want to go with serif. I'll probably do something a little bit more in the sans serif space. And now we like to pick a couple of options that we like. I definitely like Open Sans, and I really like Montserrat. I know that I like that for headlines. We can also hover over the eyeball, and we can see them transformed a little bit here, which is really, really cool. But now we're just getting recommendations. So I could have skipped this process, but I like some AI recommendations. So let's do it. It's now giving us some things that are similar to Open Sans and Montserrat. Not exactly those two. We can shop around, or we can just browse if we want. Now, again, you can hover over with your mouse onto the eyeball, and you get some of those previews that are popping up here. I'm looking for something that has a couple of styles. Sauceuse looks kind of interesting. So does M+1. I kind of like that one. We can also just browse over and look, here's some more elegant versions, some edgy versions. What if we did something from the edgy collection? I like these collections quite a bit. And maybe Sora. I do like Sora. It's a little bit more in line with what I was thinking. So why don't we not just preview? I'm going to click on the entire box. It's gone green. That is my headline selection. boom, we're done. I can also switch things up here. I can go for, show me a regular, a large, give me the different weight versions here. So I can kind of transform this a little bit. Let's go more medium here. And I think we want to have larger typography. So let's just go from small, which is the default, pump it up. Let's be a little bit more interesting here. Not large, that's crazy. But let's do regular, and we can be a little bit more, spacious or uppercase with that. I think I like it as is. So now we've locked some things in. We can keep shuffling and cycling if we want, but let's work on our UI styling. So I think let's just shuffle. I like those big buttons. I'm not sure if I like the kind of drop shadows it's providing. I think we're getting close. Round, straight. What are we doing here? Simple, more complex, more stylized. I think I'm liking those ones. I'm digging it. That looks pretty good. Let's lock those in place, and then we can do the same thing for cards and images, right? We can shuffle them. When I did that, we get a little bit more of the rounded corners there. Again, you can edit, customize to your liking. I'm liking the way that this is turning out right now. Now, when I scroll down my preview, it would be not so great if I was stuck, if I was locked in to how it actually presents these sections to me. But we have customization available. You can notice when I'm hovering over any particular section, I actually get some color options here. So I can jump this over, right, and move to the other colors that we have in mind. I can also hold down Command, and I can get different shades of that same color. So this is where all of our color shades are coming into play. I like the darker version here in the headline. I think it looks really, really nice and clean. So I'm gonna go with dark there. And again, remember, we have light and dark version. I'm digging it like this right now. It looks really, really good. We can go down to each of the individual sections. I can click on it and just apply a little bit of AI recommendation. Actually like that recommendation quite a bit. Let's go to this one, and maybe we will lighten it up. Blue. Ooh, yeah, we'll darken it. I think I kind of want to go back to our light color, and let's go back. I think it was nice as that light color. And I think we probably want to go back here to our dark version. I think that looks really nice. We get this nice kind of bounding section. Let's go dark with our footer, or keeping that kind of neutralish color. Looks pretty good. I'm going to make that recommendation here as well. It might be kind of fun to pop this one out using our copper color just a little bit. That feels kind of playful and interesting. I think maybe I want that copper color for this section as well. Let's jump to it. Yeah, copper looks nice coming under that green. Notice how I've just immediately given it like some really cool style, and I can check this out in mobile. I can check it out inside of our desktop view. So this is really good. I love this concept. And let's say I love my other three concepts. I'm ready to ship it. I'm ready to get some feedback from my clients. That's super easy to do. All I have to do is come up to the top right-hand section and say pitch concepts. When I do that, it gives me the pitch deck. It gives me the pitch interface. Down below, I can add the descriptions for each one of these. And what's great about this is I can copy this link and we can open up a new browser. I can send that link to my clients, and this is what they get. They get a full interactive experience. They get to look at the designs, and they get to open them up in full preview and check them out. Here's concept 1, here's concept 2, here's concept 3. Beautiful. And again, you could put in a little bit more work to make sure they're all prepped and ready, but same layout, different visual styles, and the style guides are now built and ready to export. So if my client approves concept 1, which they absolutely will because it looks phenomenal, then it's time to start getting those into my no-code tool, into my design tool like Figma to make those extra edits. All right, surprise, surprise, my client loved concept number 1. And so we get to export it and get it into our design tool and our development tools. So to do that, I can just head up to the top here and I can now export my designs. I'm gonna export it right to Figma. And what it's gonna say is you need to open up the Relume Figma kit and then make sure you have the Relume Figma plugin installed. I already have the plugin installed. We're just gonna go ahead and open up the Relume kit. And it's gonna open up that file for us. You can see here, you're gonna need this file so that it can actually communicate and bring in all of your work. So let's go ahead and open that up, and we'll open it up in one of my workspaces, just like so. And there we are, we're all set. You can read through the getting started page and the change logs, or you can just delete those pages if you would like to. And let's go ahead and delete that divider. We now have our workspace, a place where we can import our sitemaps, our wireframes, our style guides, and our concepts. Notice that we have an initial style guide that's already built out. Don't worry, when we use our plugin in here in a second, it's actually going to transform all of this. All we have to do is open up the Relume plugin just like this. And once you've connected it to your actual live account, you can find any and all of your projects that you've been working on. Here's eco-friendly furniture, just like that. And you can see it gives us some options. What do you want? You want to import your sitemap, your wireframes, your style guide. If you import your sitemaps, it's going to go to the sitemap page. If you import your wireframes, to the wireframe page. We're going to skip all that. We're just going to go right to the style guide and the concepts. And it's going to import those designs to those pages. We're going to click which concept do we like. We obviously like concept 1. Let's continue. And now Relume plugin is going to work its magic. It's updating everything for us. Boom, it's done, and it saved us a ton of time. 6 hours and 30 minutes it tells us it saved us. Let's go ahead and close the plugin and see what it created for us. First off, it updated our style guide to have all of our typography, our color. This is actually insane. This is exactly what you want as you're going to go into a website build. Your radius, your shadows, it has everything laid out nicely for you. We have our concept up and running. Now, this is where you can start to make some of those small changes, updates, modify things. For instance, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to replace this image that we have here with an image that we have on our desktop, like our big hero image. So let's pop that in there. Boom, that popped in really, really nicely. What's really cool is that here inside of Figma, when I click on any individual section or element, it's going to be using the different colors from different color schemes. You can see we're using color scheme 1, background. I can go up to my local variables and I can see all of my variables have been set into different collections. These color schemes, these 5 schemes are representative of the 5 different types of sections on the site. And in each section, we have text, foreground, background, border, and accent color. So I can easily switch between the different color schemes and everything is going to swap over really, really easily. You can also just edit those individually if you want to. I could come into a section and I could change that color scheme, but notice it's pulling the background from color scheme 1. So there is some local variable work that's taking place here, which is really, really cool. At this point, you have saved an absolutely insane amount of time by moving through that design process and getting your concepts into your design tool. But what about your no-code tool of choice? Well, let me show you some of those options really quickly. Obviously, Relume is well connected into the Webflow workflow. And so let's show you how to do that really quickly. You can just move up here to the top right, select Webflow, but we also have options for React and HTML. You can export to all sorts of other different options down here, but let's click Webflow really quickly, press export and see what it tells us. When you work inside of Webflow and you want to move your project there directly from Relume, you just need a couple of things. You need to first clone the style guide as a new site, and then you need to install the Webflow app. So let's just do that really quickly. It's going to open up the clonable here in Webflow, and we can then clone this starting file. Just like you did in Figma, you're going to create that site. Let's call this organic, something like that, and create the site here in Webflow. And then you'll be able to make that same connection like we did in Figma, except it'll be right here inside of Webflow. Now, Webflow and Relume are going to be using the client-first framework. It's part of this file that you have just cloned. You can see we're here inside of Webflow. We got it all taken care of. What's the next step? Well, it told us what the next step was. We just come over and make sure that we install the Relume Site Builder import plugin, and we're going to install it on the site. Just takes a second. It's going to make that connection. We're going to log in and boom, we are connected. So we move back and now our sites are now available to us. Again, eco-friendly furniture. Let's use concept 1 like this. And let's not do all pages. Let's just do the home page for now. We will start that import. And just like that, it's done. It's completed its import. It's saved us hours of time. We can close that and you can see we have the entire site now set up inside of Webflow. Now, those of you out there that are Webflow fans, you're gonna love this because Relume's connected right in there. It makes the process super easy. But me personally, I'm a little bit more of a Framer guy. And although Relume is not yet quite working perfectly in tandem with Framer, I anticipate that it's going to happen one day. So let me show you my Framer workflow really, really quickly to get everything inside of Framer. Obviously, we're going to start over in Framer and we're going to create a brand new project. This is a blank file inside of Framer. And you know the drill for this one. We're just going to grab our design here, the entire page. And let's just start with the desktop page here. That's probably all we need. I'm going to open up my Figma to HTML with Framer. I'm going to make that copy. It's going to copy all of those wonderful layers for me, and I'm going to copy to the clipboard. Then I just need to come into my Framer project and paste it in just like that. Command V, paste it in, it's done. It's brought the entire thing over. Now my website was designed over here at about 1440, so we could change that if we want to here. We could just move this to be 1440, and let's set the height of this to be around fit content. Now we have our website completely visible, and you can check it out. We can preview it just like so. It works really, really well. It looks really beautiful, has all that same styling, and our images in it directly from Figma. The next thing we could do is just make some of those preparations. We can grab each of these sections if we want, and just make sure that the width is set to fill. That's going to help us when we get down to mobile. And now we can start adding other breakpoints. For instance, we could add our tablet breakpoint. With just a few tweaks and changes inside of Framer, we drop down to our tablet view, and on we go. We could build out our mobile view, put in our mobile navigation, make things really dynamic, build components, and that is how simple it is to get things from Relume into Figma, Figma into Framer. Now, if you've continued to watch this video all the way up to the end here, good for you. You've spent about 16, maybe 17 minutes learning this entire Relume workflow, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you will save yourself hours, maybe even days, possibly even weeks of heartache if you move through this workflow from Sitemap to wireframes, into concepts and style guide building, into your design tool, or into your no-code tool of choice. This website could be built in a day potentially. And that, my friend, is really good news. If you have any questions about this process, about Relume, or any of the things that I talked about in this video, make sure you leave a comment down below and check the description for a bunch of helpful links to Relume and all of my favorite tools that I use in this workflow. They'll be down there for you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I do lots of videos about design, development, no-code tools, and AI tools just like Relume. So make sure you ring the bell so you know when another video like this one comes out. I hope you're having an amazing week, designing amazing things, making amazing things. We'll see you in the next one.